Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time for Phillip. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos or topics, reactions, reviews, re-reviews, randomness, out of the blueness, wherever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for Maniac Cop III, Badge of Silence. Came out in 1993. And there's a bit of a backstory, because I like the first two Maniac Cop films. I do think the second film is the best one. Because that, and the fact of, I do like this one, but because of the issues behind the scenes, it does not have as much of a tight editing. It does not have as many set pieces compared to the second film. But I do like that the lead... That's the saving grace of the film, is Robert Davi as the lead here, and actually having stuff for him to do compared to the second film. But started by William Lustig, or at least it was for a little bit, kind of written by Larry Cohen, but not really. Maniac Cop came out, Maniac Cop 2 came out. They both did well enough. There was the interest of a third film. Didn't know what to do. There's an original script where an African-American officer and his backstory, background with a bit of voodoo. And the way William Lustig makes it sound in interviews later is like, well, Japan was going to finance it, they didn't want a black lead. Well, I mean, that's Japan's fault. But there were other people going, well, we want Robert Davi. It's like, well, we can't have Robert Davi. It wouldn't make sense if it was Robert Davi. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, it would. It'd be fine. Just have Robert Davi and just have, I don't know, his partner be this other character you want. And put all the backstory on him and the development on him. Because we know Robert Davi and the two work together and they chase the Maniac Cop. There you go. Robert Davi can kick ass, do the action, be a badass, and this other character can have backstory, and they both help each other. But hey, what do I know? But the original script, the character would be called Moon John. Yes, Moon John. What the fuck is Moon? Really? Moon John? What's next? He has a partner named Sunset. Moon John. And he would be the detective. There would be no Robert Davi coming back from the second film. This is the original script, the original idea. No Robert Davi, just this character named Moon John. And kind of the same bit where you have this female cop called Maniac Kate, who does her duty, gets shot, gets bulldozed by politics, framed for something she didn't do. Matt Cordell would come back and want her as a bride, kind of like Bride of Frankenstein type thing. But then the original script went into stuff like necrophilia and raping her, even though she was, well, I guess maybe not necrophilia, she was comatose, I guess. Being brain dead comatose, Matt Cordell would rape her, and then at the ending, the baby would be born, and the baby would possess her, and what the fuck else? I'm like, no fucking wonder producers looked at this and said, no, this is fucking stupid. So, honestly, as much as, you know, rest in peace Larry Cohen and William Lustig, I know you hate the film. And William Lustig, I mean, he's done films. I like Maniac from 1980, I do. He did Vigilante, Robert Forster, which was okay. I think could have been better. Never saw... I've seen the first Relentless. I don't remember much about it. I don't have Relentless. There's 2, 3, and 4. I've never seen them because I could never find them to watch. They were on DVD. They're incredibly expensive now. I mean, if someone ever makes like a pack of 4 Relentless movies, I'd gladly buy a copy just out of curiosity because I like Leo Rossi. I think he's more the star of the other 3, but he's in the first one. But then William Lustig did a bunch of them. William Lustig was actually doing a Jeff Speakman movie. And he got fired in the middle of it, or he quit, and it was The Expert. I know William Lustig does not like Jeff Speakman. William Lustig has a lot of shit to talk about Jeff Speakman, saying he was egomaniacal and full of himself, and I think it was called a different movie, Broken Bruises or something. And then William Lustig got fired, quit, however you want to put it. Then they got Rick Avery to finish. Which, like, no wonder that film seems splintered. When Rick Avery had a movie of his own, it was Deadly Outbreak. It was a much better Jeff Speakman movie. So, but The Expert is a very flawed film. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, William Lustig at first was directing that, and then he got fired in the middle of it. Then he would do like Uncle Sam. It seemed like they're just trying to redo Maniac Cop, just not as successful. I don't know. Well, I guess William Lustig really went more into production. Like Blue Underground was his company, releasing titles on DVD, on Blu-ray. I don't know if that's what he's doing now or if he's retired. But William Lustig filmed it and got about 50 minutes. When it was all said and done, there was only 50 minutes of footage. And then it's like, well, there's nothing more I can do. He walked away. Someone else came in. That's why the film is directed by Alan Smithy. Like, some places do say William Lustig, but in the film it says directed by Alan Smithy. And Larry Cohen, they wanted Larry Cohen to write another script. He's like, fine, pay me. Obviously that didn't happen. So, it does feel like it's a movie that, because there's initially only 50 minutes of footage, like, usable, things had to be stretched out a bit to reach this hour and 20-some minute running time. So a little bit more about Cordell just walking. A little bit more of just a couple people talking. And compared to the second film, there's not as many big set pieces. Like, you look at the second film, there's someone being handcuffed, and it's this car chase, and then you have the whole police station massacre that looks like a nod to Terminator. You have the finale with the fire and Leo Rossi's character. There's more set pieces in that compared to this. Really, the set piece in this is at the end of the film. And it's not as big of a body count. The gore is not really... I mean, I guess Maniac Cop films were never that gory. But, you know, the death scenes were not as prominent compared to the second film. Like, this voodoo priest brings back Cordell, and I'm like, why is he bringing him back? Do they ever explain why the voodoo priest brings back Maniac Cordell? Do they ever explain why he did that? If they did, I missed it, I apologize, but I don't know why. I guess he was really bored. I recognize the actor. He was in this film called Shrunken Heads, a full moon film that tried to be theatrical, and no one saw it. And the music, I do think it's a step down. Jay Chataway did the music in the first two movies. I think they were much better. I think Joel Goldsmith, I liked him. May he rest in peace. I liked his score in Watchers with Corey Haim, but I mean, the story here was meh. So I do think it's a step down from Maniac Cop 2. So I know Phillip said he likes it more than Maniac Cop 2. I disagree. I do think it's a step down. But I do like it. And one of the main reasons is because of Robert Davi. I liked him as an actor. He was in bit parts. He was a bad guy in the James Bond film License to Kill. He was a bit part in Predator 2. He was one of the FBI Agent Johnson in Die Hard. He was in, I think, The Expendables 3. There was a lot of movies he got to be the star in. He was a star in this pretty lousy movie called The Bad Pack. A few others, but not too often. And I liked him in Maniac Cop 2. One of the issues I had was I wish he had more to do. It felt like he didn't really have anything to accomplish. He had really no prominence in the proceedings. Like, he didn't do anything that affected the story, really. But it was just cool to have Robert Davi in there. But, like, he didn't fight the Maniac Cop. He didn't shoot the Maniac Cop. Here, he's actually the star of the film. He is the protagonist. And that's because Maniac Cop 1 and 2 did this thing where one person you think will be the star, but then they died, and it's actually this one. Then they did it again in Maniac Cop 2. You think it's going to be these two, but it's actually Robert Davi. Thankfully, they did not do it here. It's just, no, this is the star. He's the star for the entire fucking film. It's not like Tom Atkins. That's one of the reasons why the first one's actually my least favorite. And I do like Maniac Cop, but it's my least favorite of 3 because I don't like what they did with Tom Atkins' character. I don't. I know it was a surprise moment, but okay, cool, it's Bruce Campbell, but then he dies at the beginning of the second film anyway, so it doesn't matter. Spoiler, what was Maniac Cop 3? I would assume you've seen the first if you're watching a Maniac Cop 3 review. If not, oh well. But Robert Davi, I mean, he has that mannerism, he has that cool factor, he has that great voice. He's just a wonderful lead, and it was great to see him get to be the star. And actually, I like the idea of a female like Maniac Kate who could go overboard. She has like hollow point and even like a little machine gun during this store robbery. It's actually Jackie Earle Haley, who would later be in Watchmen, the Elm Street remake as Freddy. But he's fucked it up the store. She uses illegal weapons to fight. And then you find out that the store clerk actually works with Jackie Earle Haley and shoots the cop, and the cop shoots her in defense. But then you have these asshole reporters. They take the story, change it up, sensationalize it, and Matt Cordell don't like that. And it does feel like, again, this is a movie that would go, man, I wish this movie was tightened, but the reason it's not tightened is because you do wish there was a bit more, like in the first half of the film, other than, Robert Davi and, the Maniac Kate kind of interesting idea, there's not a whole lot going on in the first half. And the death scenes are kind of, okay, the Maniac Cop is a defibrillator. I did find it kind of funny that he's taking that fucking thing even up the stairs and even on the rooftop. He's carrying this big fucking defibrillator still along with him in order to shock the guy. And it's not like there's a lot of big gore effects. Now, if he shot the guy, or for some reason the guy's head exploded, why? Because it's a movie. Maybe that'd be cool. You see, like, him melt or his eyes pop out. Maybe that'd be cool. But you don't really get that. Robert Forster, may he rest in peace, he plays a doctor. He gets killed by, like, X-ray. But even that's not really much. The nurse comes in, and the face is a little bit fried up, but it doesn't look that gory or ghastly. So again, watch it again. It's okay, it's fun. I don't think it's that bad as people make it out to be, but there are issues. And like I said, it feels like things are strung along because of the behind-the-scenes stuff that happened. I mean, there's a cool bit where Maniac Cop takes a guy, throws him, and shoots him in midair, like a gunslinger would do to a quarter. That was kind of cool. They do use footage from the previous films. I mean, yeah, there's bits in the beginning that are flashback, but literally there are bits where, like, Maniac Cop walks onto a stairs with a machine gun. It's footage from Maniac Cop 2. And I'm like, we know that's what it is, because the picture quality changes, because that movie was made years before, and he has a machine gun that he doesn't have before or since. And other than the finale, you just feel a bit of the budget behind this, because, again, there's not a lot of big set pieces in the first half. And, like I said, why the Voodoo Priest brings back Matt Cordell, I don't fucking know. I really don't. I would say Robert Davi and the third act saves the film. I do. I would easily say that. Because if it was for Robert Davi in the third act, I would say this film's really lame and kind of shitty. But, he kills reporters. Even that's kind of, One guy you find dead, the other he stabs in the back. I get it. Even the other Maniac Cop films are not insanely gory, but you could make that with this one. If I was the producers, like, okay, we need more footage, let's throw in a couple death scenes. I'm not saying that, that could help with break the monotony. Or have Robert Davi, I don't know, like a Clint Eastwood Dirty Harry film. He's on a case, he's on this case, but he's still doing other stuff as a cop. And there's some bad guys he has to deal with. It'd be like a dichotomy, a dynamic of Robert Davi doing his job, and the Maniac Cop doing his job, and they're each doing their jobs, and then they come and meet at the end. But I do like in the third act, the Maniac Cop lets Jackie Earle Haley loose to kill some people, including a lawyer, who I think is actually Paul Gleason, the principal from the Breakfast Club. But then it's like there's a little bit of John Woo, where there's a gurney, and then Robert Davi comes out of the gurney, shoots some of the bad guys, some nice blood squibs. There's some fun action in that. There's a fun bit where Robert Davi fakes a guy out to shoot him during that bit. I'm guessing William Lustig, the 50 minutes he shot, this is definitely part of it. It was that bit with the hospital, and this bit with the great ending of you have the bad guy on fire driving while Robert Forster and this girl who's a doctor are in another car. So it's a car chase, and your villain is on fire the whole time. And, like, how the hell do you do that? Like, you have a stuntman on fire while driving a car. Not only are you... Imagine being on fire for a stunt. Now imagine being on fire and you driving a fucking car. That's pretty damn insane. That is crazy, that is unique, and that is pretty cool for a finale. I mean, that's a pretty interesting car chase. You have your villain on fire, and Robert Davi does shoot at him. I would like, though, to see impact of the gunshots, like maybe take pieces of the face off, or hit. It seems like Robert Davi's firing and the bullets are disappearing in midair, because there's no... Even if the bullets like hit pieces of the car, or pieces of the windshield, or like maybe like shoot an arm off, or shoot a piece of the face off, something like that. I think would have been cool. Because again, Robert Davi shoots. It's cool that he's actually shooting at the Maniac Cop. He didn't get to do that in the second film, but you don't see any impact of that. It feels like he's just shooting in thin air. I mean, if you shot at me, pop, 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 it's the same reaction. There's none. So I don't know how you would do that, but I mean, just I don't know how the hell you do a guy driving while on fire, but they did it. Even if it's like, okay, some up close shots of a piece of the head, and then no, you get some prosthesis and you see some of the head is missing, or you make the head bigger, so when this piece is gone, that's gone. It's still the person's head, but you made the head big, so now it looks like more is missing, and it's not just the person's now regular head. Just the excess is gone, like it's been shot off. Or I don't know, something else. But maybe they thought that'd be a bit too difficult. But it's still a cool scene. Spoiler alert, spoilers. I even like the bit at the end. Nice explosion where Robert Davi picks up the arm that's on fire, lights a cigarette, and then throws it back to the fire pit. I thought that was really cool. That was pretty badass. Like I said, Robert Davi's very cool. He's a lot of fun. And he definitely makes it worth watching. That's the thing with me. If I did a character and an actor I liked, it could take me through a lot of leniency on a movie. It really can. This is one of them. Like, if this starred some jamoke from the CW, I'd be like, okay, the ending's cool, but the film sucks. But like I said, I think the death scenes could be a bit more visceral and violent. I think if you didn't have predicaments, like only having 50-minute shot and then having to fill shit in, it would have tighter pacing, more set pieces, more action, maybe more gory aftermath, gory body count. I didn't even the death scenes are there, kind of pretty weak. I did in the score. I do wish Jake Chataway came back with the music, because I think it was better music. But yeah, I disagree with William Lustig and Larry Cohen. Oh, why do we need Robert Davi back? No. Robert Davi is one of the reasons that makes this film worth a shit. Okay, if they did an actor, if that actor sucked, and no, I didn't need to see fucking Matt Cordell rape someone and fucking having a baby. This ain't fucking Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. For fuck's sake. Don't need to see fucking babies and shit. What's next? Kid vomits Matt Cordell to death. Like Elm Street 5. Puke to death. See, Maniac Cop 3, I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. I don't think it's that great either, though. I think it's fun. It's a decent time waster. I do think the second film just has more going for it because it's better paced. It doesn't feel as strung along with bits of filler. It feels like there's more stuff happening. But I do like that this film fits my issue with Part 2, was that it gives Robert Davi more to do. It makes Robert Davi more of the central focus. It gives him to be more of a starring piece. It does have a nice ending finale. It leaves a little bit of room for a sequel, kinda, but it doesn't. Like, you just still look at it as an end as well. And there was no more Maniac Cop films, so you could take it like that. As long as no more voodoo priests wanted just for the shits and giggles, bring Matt Cordell back again. I do think it's a fun movie. Again, I don't think it's better than the second film, because of stuff I said, but I do like it. I don't think it's, like I said, it's not an awful movie. It's not Feeders. It's not Razor Teeth. It's not fucking, Gummo or a Serbian film. Like, those are awful films. Maniac Cop 3 is fun for what it is, but I can see after the jolt of Part 2, maybe people were disappointed. I can see. But it's a fun enough film. I still like it. And Robert Davi, I wish he was able to get more roles like this. Because I think he showed that he could do it and pull off very well. The mannerisms, the voice. You bought him. He was a tough guy. He was a tough badass. And with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.